The majority of storms will likely carry at least golf ball size hail within them. However, there will be some isolated storms that could be even more or bigger hail coming from them, upwards of even softball size hail in some spots. As far as the wind gust potential goes, it's a little bit higher than it normally is. A level 3 wind gust risk today to see at least 58-mile-per-hour winds. But just like with the hail risk, notice that hatched area, the lines continue to go through the map. That indicates the potential, when we're talking about wind gusts, for 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's probably the maximum that we would see with these storms as they move their way on through. And it does sound a little doomy and gloomy, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit gloomy this afternoon when those storms move in. But thankfully, a little bit of a bright spot is the tornado risk is not quite as high as the wind gust or the hail risk. It's still definitely a risk, a level 2 severe storm risk for tornadoes in place as we move our way through the day today. We just recently tried to have a thunderstorm get going as a weak little boundary pushed its way into central Texas. That storm is now quickly racing its way up towards Corsicana, or that cluster of storms is. We've also seen a couple of storms fire up just east of I-45, just out of our area. Those storms are continuing to pull into northeast Texas and eventually into East Texas too. We're in the mid-80s right now. It's very warm, very humid, very soupy. And I want to point out, you see that little wave of energy that spawned those thunderstorms, that little line right there. That wave of energy is pushing out. So this is the only thing to be concerned with in our area at the current time. And as this little wave, this boundary departs, we're likely going to see nothing for a couple of hours. But as we push deeper into the afternoon, we will have the potential for a stray pop-up strong thunderstorm or two. It's about a 20% chance of a stray storm through 3 p.m. But then later this afternoon is when we start to get the higher storm chances returning. Warmth and humidity is really going to make it feel very humid outside, and of course a lot of storm fuel is going to be out there as well. Futurecast pretty dry all through 2 p.m. Again, we are going to look out for a stray pop-up thunderstorm or two, but look at how these storms start to blossom after 4 p.m. Now, the storms are likely either going to start to our north or off to our west, or some kind of combination of the two. We have a cold front and the dry line helping to spark those storms today, but they may not start in our area, but they are going to be moving their way towards us. And especially for the latter half of our evening commute today, 6, 7, 8 o'clock is when the strongest of these storms will be pushing through. Now, initially, these storms are going to be more isolated, which would give us a little bit of a higher tornado chance. And the main threat, of course, for hail is definitely going to be around. But once we get closer to and past sunset, these storms should start to cluster together. It'll still keep the hail threat around, but it should lower the tornado threat a bit, but really help to increase the wind gust potential. It's really near and after sunset that we will start to see the wind gust potential with today's storms kind of come to fruition. But there is good news. The good news, of course, the tornado risk not quite as high as the wind gust or the hail threat, but also these storms are going to be moving at a fairly decent pace. So yes, they will likely produce some heavy downpours from time to time, but these storms are moving out of here so quickly before midnight for many folks and before 10 p.m. for a lot of us too, that the hail, or the flooding threat rather, is really not going to be terribly high as we push our way into the overnight time period. So that's some good news there. We want you to download our free KWTX weather app. We have that QR code in the bottom left of your screen, also now on the top right of your screen as well. I'm going to get myself moved over to my phone so I can see if there's any sort of questions coming in about the weather. Hopefully the descriptions that I just gave you were sufficient to let you know where those storms are going to be. A very dangerous day of weather potentially for some of us, and again, we are keeping a very keen eye out because we don't want to have to deal with any of the large hail of the strong wind gusts, but it is potentially one of those days that we're not just talking about regular run-of-the-mill, quarter, half dollar or golf ball size hail. We could potentially be talking a little bit longer than that, or a little bit bigger than that. Jacqueline, how long until the weather starts? Well, we do have this one thunderstorm that's pushing its way through right now. I'm going to back up and show you guys that on radar. Give the computer a second or two. It'll get there. It's a Thursday. All right, so you see how we've had a couple of storms that have fired their way on up east of I-35. This is just a weak little boundary that's kind of just transitioning through central Texas. So we're really not seeing much come from this boundary. And by the time these storms get going, and even if they do get going, they're going to be crossing over I-45 and moving away. So we're probably going to see a little bit of a lull for the next couple of hours. And again, it's going to be after 4 p.m. and especially so 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight that the strongest parts of these storms are going to be moving through our area. So we do have a couple of more hours left to go in that regard. So no other, not seeing any other questions. I'll keep this up for a couple more minutes just to see if anyone is wondering, joining us maybe late, and you know we're on the second half of the lunch hour right now. The good news, so one of the greatest things that I love about our television station is that whenever severe thunderstorms get going, we really harness all the technology that we have. So later on today, if you're impacted by one of these thunderstorms, not only could you find us on the over-the-air signal on your TV, your cable, your satellite, whatever, but we also tend to stream our Facebook, our severe weather coverage, to YouTube as well, and of course to our free KWTX weather app as well. So multiple different ways that you're going to be able to stay ahead of those storms as they push their way on through later on today. Emily, any issues in Waco tonight? Yes, there could be issues anywhere in central Texas because we all have the potential, a lot of energy in the atmosphere to see those storms move through. Now, will Waco see a storm? It's not guaranteed, but there probably will be a couple of storms, especially around 7 or 8 o'clock, that bear watching. Could they be on the western side of McLennan County, the eastern side of McLennan County, moving right through Waco? We just don't know yet until those storms start to form. So we are definitely watching out for them. Somebody was asking about dew points. Right now our dew points are in the 70s, and I just want to give you a little bit of a more accurate number than just the 70s. So right now at the Waco airport, the dew point is about 73 degrees. Now, when we're talking about dew points, once you get into the 60s, that's really when we start to become concerned about severe weather, and 70s is of course very, very humid, and there is nothing to stop these storms today from tapping into that humidity. Yesterday we had a storm that tried to get going. It kind of never did, and it fizzled out, but we have enough lift in the atmosphere that storms are going to be able to tap into all the energy that is out there. These storms moving near I-45, maybe not so much, but the storms that are coming in the next couple of hours will have that potential. Let's see, a couple more questions if they're coming their way on in. Let's see. It's always weird to see myself, you know, looking at myself right after on the live. So nothing is happening right now in central Texas. Everything is coming later in the morning, or later in the afternoon rather. So these showers and storms are moving their way on out. But I saw someone, Nicole, asking about Falls County, Sophia for Eddie. Eddie and also Falls County and pretty much the majority of central Texas. The real danger is going to come from 4 p.m. up until about 10 o'clock tonight. And for our most populated cities and towns, Gatesville, Waco, Temple, Killeen, kind of this central I-35 area, the threat's really going to start to go up 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So we're just kind of waiting. We got to wait for those storms to get here first, but everyone will be under threat for severe weather later on today. We want you to take the severe weather threat seriously. We're taking it seriously because these storms will have a lot of juice to work through. Be sure to download our free KWTX weather app. You can scan the QR code on your screen or search KWTX weather on the App Store or Google Play Store. You can download that app to your phone and it will alert you if there's any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings issued for your area. Of course, we'll also have some more video updates that get posted on there throughout the day, so we can make sure that everyone is staying as prepared as possible for those storms coming in later on this afternoon. I think that is going to end it for our Facebook Live this go around. We'll of course have more updates on our website and on our free KWTX weather app as the afternoon progresses. Stay safe out there. We'll keep you informed as those storms rumble their way on through.